everyone. Welcome to the third episode of The Chef's Kitchen, brought to you by Norwegian Cultural Center. Now, this is just one of the many culture programs produced by the Norwegian Cultural Center. And for this program, we bring you beyond the kitchen and closer to the Norwegian culture through food. Now, I'm Jacklyn, your host and facilitator for this episode. So first and foremost, I would like to request all participants to be on mute first during the workshop, but try to keep your video on so we could see your handsome and pretty faces. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate, but just put up your hands and we will unmute you so you could ask the chef any questions. Now, before we continue and before we invite the chef here, I would like you to enjoy a video by the Norwegian Seafood Council. Okay, now without further ado, let me introduce our chef for today, Chef Jimmy Chok.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi, Chef. I think you have a lot to tell us about the seafood, the Norwegian seafood especially, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So today, I know you want to enlighten us on like the different kinds, especially salmon, which is a very common fish in Asia actually.
Yep.
But we always get confused with salmon and trout.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can you like maybe explain a little bit more to us?
Okay, before I go into that, I just have to highlight that salmon is actually one of the best Norwegian export to the world, right? As we know, because it is everywhere around the world.
Yes.
In fact, it's exported to about 150 countries around the world. So it's huge, it's everywhere, right? So I think, if I'm not wrong, due to statistics, I think we serve about 34 million meals a day on salmon itself all over the world.
Ooh,
So for that, Norway has actually, I would say, mastered, the salmon, this whole salmon industry, and they brought that to the world. So as you and I know, I mean, I think you know, but not many people out there know, the Norwegian salmon and trout is actually a farm fish. Okay, it's not a wild fish. Basically, it's been farmed. It goes back to about 60 years history when they started farming the fish.
Ooh.
So they have been doing this for about 60 years now, and they are the so-called expert in salmon farming.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Asia, as you mentioned, it's a popular fish. Everyone knows the fish. Everyone eats the fish. In fact, in Asia, it's the most sought after fish. It's the number one fish in most department store and supermarket that sells the fish. So people like to eat salmon. But a lot of people don't know that it's actually farmed. It's not wild. So it's farm fish. So for that matter, I mean, the fish takes about 2.5 years to 3 years to grow from eggs to about 4 or 5 kilo market size.
Oh, that's a long
so
time.
It takes 3 years. So it's a big industry. It's an ongoing industry. It has been, as I said, sort of like done to perfection. So they know how to now grow the fish, handle the fish from being from egg to a market size, and how to bring it across the ocean to us in Asia. And in Asia, we are lucky because they're now enjoying the fish, in our doorstep. Yeah, so that is what I say is one of the best things that I have actually come across and been doing this. And I find that it is perfect, for us to have such a wonderful fish. So as I mentioned, it's actually a farm. It's not a wild fish. So don't get it wrong. It's always, okay?
Yeah.
How you know it's from Norway? When you buy from supermarket, you see this logo. This one I'm wearing now here. It's basically, it's like a branding.
Seafood from Norway.
Yes. When you buy Prada, Gucci, have the label there. So my fish has a label too. This is my branding here. So we use this as branding, so you know where the fish comes from. The original origin counts. So people tend to buy more at ease when they know where the fish comes from.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's what the council have been doing this for the last 6-7 years now. So the label where the fish comes from. So
Yeah.
we believe in the brand, and so the brand has been sort of like, as I said, they have the history, they know
Yeah.
how to look after the fish, and they bought it perfection, and we have it. Lucky for us, we have it now on our table.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
Yeah, and especially now when everyone is so concerned about where your food come from, the sources of
Yes.
where your
Correct.
raw ingredients, right?
Correct.
But I remember chef kept telling me that there is a difference between trout and salmon.
Yes. I
Yeah.
have a picture here to show you. If I tell you, you won't understand me. So I have a picture to show you. So
Yeah.
look at this picture and you can see the difference between a trout and a salmon. All right?
Yeah.
Please let me just remind you again and again and again, and all I do in all my classes is, these two fish, as you see on the screen now, are not related. Okay? They are not brother and sisters. They are not from the same family. They are different fish. So one is actually trout, and they call it now fjord trout, and one is salmon.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but in Asia, they call both fish as salmon,
Oh.
all right, because it's orange in color, right? Which is wrong. So because you cannot call two different fish the same name because the color is the same. I think which is wrong. Okay, if you recall, I think about a couple of months back in Singapore, there was someone complaining on social media about buying a smoked salmon and written down that smoked salmon. When he turned the packaging, he saw that trout.
Oh.
So this is mislabeling to me. As a chef, I think it's not right because you need to tell people what you're
Yes.
serving.
Yeah.
So it is important to know. So I hope to share the knowledge today, and that's 1 hour or so, the difference between the two fish. You can see the fish now. Okay, when it's not cut, you can see. The one in the upper picture is the trout.
Okay.
Okay, you can look at the picture of the fish. It's actually much shorter. The leg is shorter, but has a bigger belly, wider body, a bit bigger, and the
Yeah.
head is actually rounder.
Okay.
Okay, as for salmon, the head is sharper, but the body is more narrow, like a torpedo. You can see that it's a bit more sharper.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the color. Trout tend to be a bit grey bluish, and salmon tend to be a bit dark grey kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a different fish. It's not the same. So I understand consumer has hard time to differentiate the two different fishes
Yes. Yes.
because they look orange. They are orange in color.
Especially when you
So-
say that it's all orange. I think
Yeah,
for a
correct.
lot of people, orange is salmon.
Yeah. Because there's only, I would say, these two orange fish in the world. If I can safely say, no, there are a few other fishes, but not as popular as these two fish, that is orange in color.
Oh.
Okay? So
Okay.
not many fish are orange in color. So people like mix up these two fish between salmon and trout, they call it salmon, it's easy. But it's not the same. To me, the taste is different, the structure is different, the oiliness is different also. And the way you cook it is different also.
Oh.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. So, we hope to share. I hope to share this with you more. I'll bring it out and show you later. But as you said, it's not the same fish. But both are farm fish. Yeah, both are farm. Both take about 3 years to grow. Okay, and those are needed. Time is needed to grow the fish. So it's not forced to grow. They are kept into as real as possible. Their real life cycle. There are no GMO is used in breeding the fish.
Oh.
Okay, there's no genetic modified into the fish.
Oh,
It is what
okay.
it is. So basically, they just follow how the fish grows in nature, and they just manipulate the same kind of environment for the fish to grow.
Yeah. So can you maybe like also share with us a little bit more about how the fish are farmed? Because I know you've been to Norway and actually
Yes.
looked at like their farming method.
Yes, I've been lucky. I have to say I've seen it a couple of times, and I would say that the process is very well thought through, okay, well taken care of.
Yeah.
And the most important thing for me is the animal welfare. So the fish are treated with care,
Okay.
right from egg to market size to harvest, they are taken care of. All right. So the fish is actually grown in two waters, as in nature. Salmon and trout is actually born on the river. They're born on the river.
Okay.
Then they will spend their first year in the river, which is fresh water.
Okay.
Okay. The second year onwards, they will just swim down and go up to the sea. That's where they will grow up. So in nature, salmon and trout will just born in the river and die in the river. They will die in the same place where they were born.
Oh.
God, don't ask me why, how. I'm only a cook. I'm not a nature scientist, but that's how nature is. So they die back where they were born.
Oh, so
So-
both salmon and trout
Yes.
actually have the same cycle.
Cycle,
of-
yes,
Same cycle,
yes,
but
yeah.
they are not related.
Not related. Okay. So They are farmed so in farm fish, they are farmed in normal cages, freshwater, for the first maybe 8-9 months of the time of their growing. And this is about 100 gram size. They'll be transported to sea cages. Like what you see in the picture now, that's a sea cage. So that's an open sea cage that is basically out in the sea. Okay, so they are now in seawater. So they grow in both waters, fresh and sea. But they spend 2 years in the sea, and then when they are ready to harvest, they are actually brought out from the pen and then to harvest it. Right, so they are in open sea. You look at the water in the picture, it looks very calm.
Yes.
But the water is not calm, it has to move. So if not, the fish will not survive. It has to move. All right, so what is now by law in Norway, when you farm fish, is that first, you need to have license to farm it. Okay, where you go to farm the fish, you have to get licensing and approval from the government. All right, and when that's approved, by law, you look at the cage down there. Now, the amount of fish that's put into the cage, you are only allowed to put 2.5% of volume of fish compared to 100% of water in the cage.
2.5% is less than 10% of it.
Yeah, so by law, because why? It's animal welfare. We don't want the fish to growing like this.
Next to each other, like sardine, right?
Like sardine. The same like what you see in the MRT station at 5 o'clock in the evening when you go home. They're all packed up. They don't. They have place to swim. Okay? This animal welfare, you have the space to, they allow the social distance now. The space. So they allow the space to grow. You need that for animal welfare but when you see into the pen, you see the fish are swimming very close together. But that's how fishes are. They swim close to each other, right? We look at it, like that, but they have the space to grow because the depth is quite deep. It goes about 50-60 meters deep into the sea. So the white can be is about 100 meters across, and it's now I heard it's a bit bigger now because the demand has been growing. They're bringing the cage bigger and bigger.
So they actually replicate, they bring them back to the space where they really live.
Live, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the only thing is they put a cage there.
Correct. So we don't force them to grow; they grow by themselves. So having said that, when I say 3 years to grow to market size, in one cage I don't get all the same size. Because they're growing naturally.
Yes.
Right? So we have big fish, small fish, that under-nourished fish, all will happen because why? It's nature by itself. We don't force them to grow at the same size. So they're not forced to grow. They eat and they grow by themselves. So we get different sizes. So in each cage that we harvest, it will be different sizes between 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 6, 7 kind of thing. So it'll be different sizes of fish in there. So it's how they grow. So they're not forced to grow.
Okay. And then I think because Norway has actually done a very good job in terms of the animal welfare and taking care, and it's like these fish are really grown organically, very by their own nature cause. So how do we actually identify the fish other than the logo? I think you did mention about some kind of an ID, a passport for salmon.
Well, it is hard for consumer to basically see a difference of the fish once they're out in the market. I mean, I can see, but I know that for a normal consumer it's hard. But before we go to that, the difference of how you see, I think it's also important for me to touch on this thing that you see on the screen now.
Yes.
It's basically every fish that comes out from Norway is basically tagged and labeled. Okay, what this does is to give you an identity, basically like an IC to the fish. So it tells you what is this in the box, okay? How heavy is the box? How many fish are there in the box? Where was the farm that it was harvested from? And which factory was actually processed the fish? And expiry date on how long the fish can be kept.
Expiry date?
Yes. So, and then what you don't see on the box is the barcode that actually holds the history of the fish. So meaning they can trace back to where the fish came from. So assuming you have an issue with this fish and you found out that the fish is the one that caused the problem, the item can be traced back on where the fish came from. And that to me is sustainability, is traceability, which is important nowadays, especially we are having food now all over the world. So this is important. And Norwegian salmon has the only one, okay, being a chef for 30 years now, I would say this is the one thing that I rely on for salmon, but I cannot rely on any other part of product that I buy from the suppliers nowadays. So because this is well documented and it's well out there, if I buy a piece of beef, I cannot see where it comes from. They may have the traceability, but it's not available to you. Okay, this is available to you, so you can actually see the box. So we always tell our retailers, so-called, that when you buy in boxes, don't shift the fish around between boxes. So you remain the passport to the same fish. Okay, so you can trace it back. So this is what happened. If I can share with you an incident in Singapore, I think a couple of years back.
Yep.
There was a shipment of fish that came from Norway, and the shipment had some problem. Okay. Once they found out the shipment has problem, the shipment was removed from the market in less than 24 hours.
They could trace it immediately.
Yes, immediately.
Basically like
And
an
then
IC.
you know, where it went to. So that to me is important. So
Yes.
you know that you can go after any problem you face.
Yes.
And that to me is what you call safety. You know, you're buying at ease.
Yeah.
That you know what you're buying. So this is important. And this is much effort put into for the last 60 years of farming.
Is this like the salmon passport, like in your 30 years of being a chef, is this like a very unique thing for the salmon, Norwegian salmon?
It is not unique, but I guess a lot of chefs are not exposed to knowing this because we never sort of like, I would say care, but we were hardly told about this. So I've been doing this, telling people about this label for the last 10, 12 years is to tell people, hey, you buy something like salmon, you know where you're buying from. So it's important because it's traceability. Because you talk about traceability, you know, animal welfare, you know, all this sort of thing. But show us the proof. So this is the proof, right?
Yes,
So this is
definitely.
one, I think, the best thing that the whole industry has done for farming.
Yeah, this is definitely very valuable.
Yeah.
So because like right now, then I think everyone who now has known about this would actually look for this
Well,
and
you,
make sure.
you can't see this in the supermarket. You can't see this, but we have trained people to understand that if you keep it all with the same cold chain system, you should not have any problem.
Yes.
So you're buying at ease. At least when you buy the fish with this logo, you know you're buying with ease.
Yes,
Right? Because it's
right.
traceability. We can trace the fish if anything happened to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So far, touch wood, nothing happened for the last 10 years I've been doing this. So it's fine. Okay, I'm the living example of eating salmon every day. Okay, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know.
Yeah, and chef, you just mentioned you eat salmon like for like 20, 30 years every day. So can you like even share with us more about the nutrients, like how good is salmon? Because everyone has been there. Salmon is very good for you, very good for you. What are the good things about salmon?
Well, I guess the biggest thing that people eat salmon is the omega-3.
Yes.
Okay, number one. That's the only thing that people know that's omega-3.
Yes.
But if you look at the chart now, it's more than just omega-3.
Yeah.
Your A, your D, and your B kind of things are all in the fish, right? But the important is omega-3 because what omega-3 is something that our body cannot produce. Okay, but we need it. So the
Okay.
only way to have omega-3 is to consume omega-3 from food or from vitamins that's been, you know. But eating something that's natural from nature is better than putting tablets in your mouth, right?
All right,
So
of
salmon
course.
is the number one source of it. So people are eating salmon because it's the omega-3 that they have in the fish that helps in your body growth, in your muscle growth, in your heart growth, you know, and then all that, you know, and we've been saying that also when you're pregnant, eat more salmon is good for you, right? We always say that. My ex-boss used to say this, you know, happy wife, happy life, right? So eat more omega-3, so it makes you, because it helps the body development for the kids and you know, for your muscle growth, you know, your heart and all these things is good for you. We cannot produce it in the body, but we need it in our body. So the best source is to eat
Salmon.
Yeah, it's the fatty acid in the fish.
Yeah, and having said all this about how good about salmon, one problem with salmon is like a lot of people would overcook salmon.
Oh yes.
Yes, and it's like I think my family would be one very good
Yeah.
example. Always cook and doing the Chinese frying and make the fish cooked until like
It's dead.
it's
2
ready
times.
flaky.
It breaks up. It breaks up.
Yeah.
As again, when I go out and preach about Norwegian salmon, it's always important to tell you don't overcook the fish.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened is, it's a very funny thing. When I do a demo session at the supermarket for consumers, I give a half-cooked fish. I get these questions. Chef, can eat half-cooked fish? Is it edible? Then my question back to them is very simple. You eat sushi? Yes. So you can eat raw, can eat half-cooked. I said, huh? Oh yeah, oh. Can you believe that how sometimes people mind things? They love sushi,
Yep.
but they can't eat a half-cooked fish. That's the same family. Right? So I get it all the time. When I say that, they go, oh, I never thought of that. I said, how can you not thought of that? You eat raw fish, but you can eat half-cooked fish. So the reason why you don't overcook the fish is because it's very simple. The omega-3, the oil is all in the fish.
Yes.
When you put heat into any protein, you drain out the protein from the protein compound from whatever you're cooking.
Yep.
You drain out the heat. And when the compound touches heat, the protein becomes, how would I say, curdled up. So there's no use to you anymore because it's already been overcooked. So when you overcook the fish, it becomes. I always say this, if you eat an overcooked salmon, right, don't waste your money. Just eat paper. It's the same amount of vitamins you have in paper and overcooked fish, which is nothing.
There's no vitamin
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. So don't overcook the fish. Keep it like pink inside and always undercook it to get the maximum flavor. So you don't want to drain all the oil out from the fish, all the protein out from the fish.
Oh, okay. So that is also one reason why we should not overcook salmon.
Never.
But maybe chef, you can maybe explain a little bit on how do we make sure that we do not overcook the salmon?
I always tell people when you're pan frying the fish is always make sure you don't use high heat. But in Asian cooking, we always believe in high heat. Correct. But not for everything. Because you need time to cook the fish in slowly. So I always have this one-third method. So assuming the fish is about this thick, okay, your skin is at the bottom here.
Yep.
Right? You put the skin side down onto the medium heated pan.
Okay.
So when you start to cook, you will see that the fish color will change color.
Yeah.
You turn a bit of white and a bit of protein will come out. So when it's about one-third white, which means that one-third has been cooked through already. Then you flip it over.
Cook the other 1/3.
Yes, and do the other third over and cook the other 1/3 more. Then your fish is more or less 2/3 cooked.
Yeah.
That live in the center, sort of like not cooked yet. But don't remember, there's always heat that's going through the fish. So by the time you serve it, the heat that's going through the flesh will be cooking it just nice in the center, which is not overcooked and it's still moist in the center. Right? So that's what you should do. Don't use high heat. Once you put high heat, you burn the fish. Later, when I cut the fish, I will show you what I mean by when you fry the fish on the skin side, always make sure you have time to let the heat go through the skin slowly, because there's always a layer of, how do I say, the skin. There's a layer of fat before the meat. Okay? If you don't cook the heat enough to pass the skin and sort of like melt this layer of fat down, the skin will always break. Okay? Then when you start to move so much, your fins will break. And also, if you don't put enough heat into the skin long enough, it won't be crispy like what people like. It'll be like soggy and it breaks a lot. So you need to be patient when you fry a piece of salmon.
Wow. Okay.
And then also, if you use high heat, what happens is when you drain out too much oil from the fish, the pan that you're frying the fish will start to smell. Okay? Why smell? It's not the fish is smelly. It's the oil naturally from the fish that causes the smell. Because why? You are burning fresh oil. Right? So that's why it becomes smelly. So the whole house is smelly. That's the only complaint I get from consumer. When I fry salmon, it's very smelly. It's not the fish. It's the oil you're frying and the heat you use is too high.
Too high.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think everyone here, as long as we make sure that we do not use high heat and make sure that we don't overcook it, is great. And before we go on to the next part, maybe chef, I think salmon is also very good for baking. But how long should we bake a salmon to also not to overcook?
Well, okay, it's hard to give you a temperature. Okay, how do you how long you need to bake? Because what I've come to realize is, if I give you a temperature to cook and a timing, I give you exactly. The problem I have is a lot of consumers' house ovens don't work the same. All right. So when I always get this problem, I give one temperature and one. Okay, I can give you a temperature, but I give timing. Timing is the one I the most worried about, because they're never the same oven in any household.
Yes.
So you have to adjust yourself. So if you want to bake an oven, 180 degrees. Okay, if it's 200 gram size, we take it between 6 to 8 minutes. Okay, but if you ask me how I would like to bake my salmon, I will tell you a different way. Okay, I will teach you a slow cook bake method instead of a high heat bake method. Okay, so what I normally advise my students or whoever wants to use salmon a different way is to use an oven at a very low temperature. So at 55 degrees, you put the fish into the oven without seasoning. Put it in the oven, cook for 45 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes later, you take out the fish. It still looks like it's raw, okay, but it's fully cooked. Okay, with 55 degrees, what happens is that the heat is so low, it does not coagulate your protein. And it doesn't drain out all your protein from the fish. So it makes the fish tasty as how it should taste, because nothing has been removed, and then it's soft and it's nice and it's juicy. So that is how I will bake my fish at home.
As in the whole fish or fillets?
You can do, okay, if you do whole fish, you take longer, maybe about an hour, half to 2 hours. If you do a fillet, it's 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. Once you bake it, if you're not sure, take a spoon, use the back of the spoon, The thickest part of the fish, just poke it through. When it's cooked, you just go in, pop.
Okay.
Okay, when it's not cooked yet, you have a bit of resistance because of the muscle that blocks you from going in.
Ah.
So that's one way of checking it. The thickest part of the fish, just put this one in, it's done. That's how I see it.
Okay.
Okay, but for this method, one thing good about this method is you can cook it in the morning if you want to. Leave it there for the whole day. In the evening, it will still stay moist.
Oh.
Okay, so that is one. If you love to do parties at home, this is one method you can actually sort of like ease your whole party preparation time and get it done. So what I normally do is I just cook the whole thing in a tray, bake it, take it out, put some sauces or put some garnishes, and then I serve it in the whole platter.
Wow.
It's wow. So people say, wow, when I start eating it, it just flakes up nicely and so much moisture inside.
Well, just
that's how it
listening
is.
to this already, I'm already like feeling that I'm so hungry, right? Yeah, and I think the chef has brought some fish for us to see today.
Yep. I
Yeah.
will just show you the difference now. I don't have the whole fish today, but I do have a couple of fillets here that I want to show you. Okay, so
Salmon.
take a wild guess now.
Okay.
They are both orange fish. So
Alright.
tell me, which is trout, which is salmon?
Okay, I think I have to make a guess as well. Maybe our dear participants, you
Go on.
can unmute yourself and tell me which one. Okay, let's say like this is A and this is B. If you think that A is salmon, you just say A and B. Okay,
Anyone want to take a wild guess?
let me see. I have to say, to tell you the truth, I also didn't know. I am trying to guess now because to me they are all orange fish. So A and B, which one it is? I think B is salmon. I think. I'm not sure. So any participants, like which one of you would like to make a wild guess? You just unmute yourself and tell me which one is salmon. Which one do you think is salmon? Which one? There's somebody who said something?
Someone type what? B? A?
A or B?
A is salmon.
A is salmon. Okay, somebody said A is salmon.
A salmon.
Okay. Anyone who?
Any more?
Anyone else?
Okay, can I ask that participant, how do you know?
Yeah. How do you know?
How do you know?
I don't know. I'm guessing. Hi. Hi. Can you unmute yourself? You can speak. Hi.
Is it unmute?
Can you hear?
Hi. Sorry, I can't hear. Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I know which one is salmon and trout because I worked with Chef Jimmy for 5 years too.
Okay. So I made the wrong guess.
Inside joke.
Okay. So Chef Jimmy, this is your friend.
Yes. You are right. You can see it so clearly.
Okay, maybe Chef can explain to us how do we identify?
Okay, now you can see basically the A is actually salmon, the B is actually trout. Right? So that's the expert. He knows that very well, okay? Okay?
Hi.
Because participants all the way from Norway. Can you see that? He's all the way from Norway.
Okay.
Oslo, I believe in Oslo. Oh, Bergen.
Wow, you can see from the screen.
He's the expert, right?
Okay.
He used to be the expert in this. He's still the expert in this.
I'm right here and I cannot identify. So maybe Chef can share with us how to
Okay,
identify.
the difference is, it's hard to see anyway when it's like, the skin part can give you a little bit of help if you want to look at the skin part.
They look the same to me.
Okay, now it's not really the same. We look at the color. The
Okay.
salmon color tends to be a bit more darker grayish color here.
Okay.
Okay, and the trout is a bit more
Light.
light gray, right? But one is different. You look at the salmon center and the trout center, what do you see?
Oh, the trout center, there's something red here.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yes,
like-
that's
yeah.
one indicator of you telling you how to see between the difference between salmon and trout.
Ah.
Right? Salmon is all dark grey here
It's
and a
all
bit of
grey.
lighter, like no other color here, right? Only two-tone color here, right? You understand what I say? As for trout, you see the light grey part top here, which is the upper belly, and then a bit of red color running through here.
Ah.
Okay?
Okay.
So this is one way to see the difference between salmon and trout if you've already been fillet. So if you portion up, you can actually see there's always a red color thing. Then you can see the salmon, the black thing goes all the way to about 2/3 of the fish. As where this one, only about 1/3 of the fish. Can you see that?
Yep.
Center here, the center is a bit
Red.
reddish here.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's one way of seeing it if you can't see the flesh.
Okay.
If I turn it over now,
Yep.
okay, by color, you straight away will know salmon is a bit duller in color. It's not bright orange. Salmon will never be bright orange. Trout is bright orange. So that's the difference. Okay?
Oh,
The
okay.
color, salmon cannot be this color. It's very rare they come to this color. It's a bit more of this. It can be a bit brighter, but not as bright as this. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, if you look at the white color thing that's running through the fish,
Yes.
okay, this is salmon. Can you see that the white stuff is a bit more subtle? That's the fat that's running through
Yeah,
the flesh,
that's
right?
the fat.
As for trout, is it more bigger and it's more visible?
Yep.
Okay, so this has more
Fats.
fats and more oil to the fish. So you pan fry these two fish, you tend to get the trout actually release more oil than this. And they also have more moisture in the flesh compared to this. Meaning, when I fry the fish in the pan, with salmon, I don't get the popping, you know, like water thrown into oil, you pop. You won't get much with salmon, but you get a lot with trout.
Oh.
Because they have more moisture in the fish.
Oh.
Okay, and actually more oil content in the fish.
Okay.
Okay, but that doesn't tell you that because of that it's better to eat trout than salmon. No.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say that. It's just that you don't eat the whole thing, you eat portion. So basically, you, as recommended by medical field, they said 250 grams a week for an adult is the best recommended amount. Yeah.
That's for salmon.
Both.
For both.
Either or.
Oh,
Okay?
either or. So
They have the
in-
same content of vitamins, but they have the same. There's no one better than the other. It's the same thing.
Oh.
That's the nature of how the fish is a bit different. That's all. See? It's not the same. So you eat sashimi and sushi.
Yes.
Salmon will melt in your mouth, easy. This one, trout will give you a bit of bite. Okay, the bite comes from where? It's the white protein that's in the flesh here will give you more bite when you bite the fish. This one a bit less, so it's easier to bite. It's like pop, it melts in your mouth. This one, you have a bit of crunch in the center when you bite into that white stuff.
Ah, so there's nothing saying that this is better or this is better.
No,
they
they
have
are
the
the-
same.
they are the same.
So, I mean, then
Well-
maybe one very practical question is one more expensive than the other?
Well, technically, trout tend to be more expensive.
Ah.
Okay, but just to share with you the history of this is basically trout was never in Asia before. I think a couple of years back, years back, there were some issues with export of different countries. So Norway have a lot of trout left in the market that's not going out into the market. So they were introduced to Asia. So when it came to Asia, people tend to buy with color, which is, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but people tend to buy with color. You know how you buy a clothes when it's all like colorful, you tend to get attracted to it, but just white and black, you tend to, no. So it's one of those things, it's color that makes. In fact, in Malaysia, it's funny, in Malaysia, I came to know that 2 different states, one prefer salmon and one said trout is fake.
Trout is fake.
Fake, because it's too orange. So one state likes trout, one state likes salmon. It's a very funny thing.
So is it because they think that this trout is actually
I
supposed to
don't
be
know
salmon?
what they think. I don't know what they think, but they look at the color. Some prefer red, some prefer Bridal. So this is say, oh, this is the real thing. This is the fake one. It's too orange.
Ah.
So it is what it is. It's a funny thing, but
Yes.
that's how it is. So I'm trying to stop all that. You know, we've been trying to do it for the last 10 years now. It's two different fish. So
Yeah.
if the supplier do not start to sell this as salmon, this as trout, you will have all this problem with the consumer.
Yes.
So it makes my work harder. But I've still been doing this because why I enjoy it, doing this, because it's one of the best products I ever worked with. You know how I handle it.
Yeah.
I've brought this now into Asian cooking for the last, I think, 5-6 years now. This works beautiful with Asian cooking. Okay, because of the oil content. Asian cooking is a bit more spicy, more sour, more, how would I say, sweet finishing kind of thing. It works very well with oily fish. You know, I stir fry this, it works well with my let's say my black pepper sauce.
Yep.
Okay, I steam this, it goes well with my soya sauce. So it is a very versatile fish. That's why today is the number 1 selling fish
Yes.
in Southeast Asia. In fact, now Thailand is the number one
Consumer.
country that's consumer is buying the fish. It's growing every month is growing and growing. So people have now put salmon or trout into their local cuisine. And when that happens, means it will explode.
Yep.
In Thailand, Thai is all about sweet and sour kind of
Yes.
thing. And with this fish, oily fish, it works like, beautifully, it pairs beautifully. So I think the success is because the fish works very well with the local cuisine itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all this talk about this salmon is already making me very hungry, especially when I'm staring at these two fillet. But so now let's, maybe Chef is going to introduce us a dish today, which is raw Norwegian fjord trout. Is it?
I will do both.
Oh, do both.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a very common dish in our Chinese culture in Singapore, where we normally eat this with porridge. So I've used the same method of eating raw fish or like yisang and then put it into salmon.
Ah.
So what I'm going to use today is bit ginger, chili, sesame oil, soya sauce, lime, and coriander.
Yeah.
It's very simple stuff, but it
Okay.
makes the fish so good.
Oh,
Okay. So remember when we are talking about frying the fish, the
Yes.
oil content. What I want to show you now is maybe I will just show you what I mean by I say that is when I were to just remove this fish off. Okay. So the skin away first. Okay. You see this part here, at this bottom here now, there's a lot of oil that running through here. Okay, so when you pan fry a fish like that, right, you need to have enough heat to go through to make this part outside crispy and to render the fat oil here to come out before the skin will stick back to the flesh.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't allow that to happen, you start to move the fish very early part when you're frying, the skin will break.
Ah, okay.
Because it's an oily piece of skin. Okay, it needs time to basically render the fat out so that the flesh will basically stick back onto the fish. If not, it will just break. Okay, so that's one thing that you have to be. You cannot rush cooking the fish. You cannot rush it. All right.
Oh, this is a very
Okay.
sharp knife.
So this one you can make into fish skin if you want to. Okay,
Fish skin.
fish skin. Fish skin is the fish skin snacks is actually originated from Singapore.
Oh yeah.
Right,
So do we use salmon fish skin?
I don't think so. It's too expensive, I think. They don't normally use salmon. They don't normally use salmon. They use some other fishes. Because I think salmon skin can be a bit too expensive to be.
Yep.
Okay, so as for trout,
Yep.
you can see
Ooh.
the amount of oil. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know if you can see, but I think you can
Yeah,
see,
I can
Jacklyn,
see.
right?
Yep.
The amount of oil is so different between this
Yes.
and this.
Yeah. See, can
Can
I
you see
think
it?
I think we can see the.
Let me just bring it closer to the camera.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
see the amount of oil
Yeah,
that is
it's-
on the skin here?
It's very white. We can see
Okay,
the oil.
and compared to the salmon here,
Yep.
there's actually a huge difference.
Yes.
I mean, I unfortunately it cannot be that clear on the camera, but I think Jacklyn can vouch and say that
Yeah.
the oil level is a bit different.
Yeah.
So this is what makes harder to cook salmon trout when you're frying it. So you'll be very careful when you fry it. Okay. So
Yep.
you can see the difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
It's much more oily than this. You can see now. Once I open up, it all start to come out. You can see the difference.
Yes.
Okay, so both are different fish. All right, so don't confuse yourself. Okay, remember one thing I want to share with you: when you buy a lot of fish, when you want to keep it together in the fridge, always make sure you don't put the skin onto the flesh. Always do this. All right, so that you don't actually dirty up the flesh because skin can be dirty. So there's protectors. So always
Oh.
keep it like that. You want to pack it and don't
Okay.
allow it to have this like that.
Oh.
Okay, so you want to sort of like. Okay.
Okay.
So now, what I'm going to do is just slice this as thinly as possible. Don't do sashimi style because it's a bit too thick.
Okay.
Okay, so you want it to. If you're working with salmon in your home environment,
Yes.
you have to work very fast because our humidity, our heat is just sometimes too hot. End up, the fish start to sweat. Once you open up, you see it start to sweat from
Yes,
so you have
it's
to,
the
start to
water.
become oily comes out. So you have to move very fast. So just thin slices.
So if we do this at home, we need to get the kind of knife that is like sashimi knife that can
Well,
slice.
you can use any knife you want. As long as the knife is sharp.
Sharp
Okay,
enough
I
lah.
think your mom and my mom can use a chopper with this. We can't use but they can use a chopper. So
Chopper.
it's not an excuse. So it's basically both is workable. Right. But the only thing I have to basically highlight here, we do it at home. the most important thing is that you have to make sure that your knife is clean, your board is clean. Right? Because at home we don't color code our boards. We use all one same board. So it may cause contamination. So always remember, if you're doing this at home, what you may want to do is clean the board properly, soap, and wash it. If you can have the effort, maybe run through with hot water for a while, dry it out, then start using the board. So you actually clean the board a little bit better, okay? So I cannot expect you to have just to go and buy one new board just to cut your salmon, right? So just have to make sure you clean the board properly, okay? So that you don't have any cross contamination that may happen if you cook from home.
Yeah.
Right? So that's salmon and this is trout. So I'm going to cut. See, so much more oil compared to the, it's very different.
It looks different, yeah.
Okay.
Can I also ask, because I think I saw on online when people are selling like salmon, they would have this sashimi grade salmon. So is there does it mean that we can eat this as sashimi, or is it a better grade or something?
Okay, let's okay, I want to clear one thing out very clearly. Okay, there is no government body or no one person or whoever is a body that will endorse, okay, this is sashimi grade, this is not sashimi grade.
Yeah.
What sashimi grade means is the fish is safe to eat it raw.
Ah,
Okay, it means that. It also means that price is a bit higher, but it's the same fish. So if you go to your wet market now and buy your salmon,
Yes.
you go to the best Japanese restaurant in Singapore and eat your fish, they are from the same fish. There's no difference. All right?
Okay.
It's just that the market handling is different than the Japanese restaurant handling. So the handling part is make you safe to eat. That's the difference. So you cannot eat raw fish. In fact, no supermarket or retailer in any part in Asia is allowed to sell you salmon or trout in the open counter as raw consumption.
Oh.
They're not allowed to do that. Because why? It's because their fish counter is not only cutting salmon, right? They have other fish, they have prawn, they have all these things down there.
Yes.
Because they're doing that, they're not allowed to sell you raw consumption. That's the only thing. But the fish is the same quality.
Oh.
All right?
So if you want to do this at home, we cannot buy from like the
You cannot. Don't buy from wet market to eat raw, please, because the handling, the temperature is not there. Okay? If I may say this to you, one thing, when I say about traceability and about safety, the fish, when they're transported from Norway to Singapore, they're always kept in the cold chain system. Okay? Between 0 to 4. Okay? So the fish will always be kept in that temperature. That's the only way to prolong the lifespan, the freshness of the fish.
Okay.
Is temperature control. Okay, no other thing you can do. So if you maintain that, it's safe to eat it raw. In fact, every salmon that comes out from Norway to any part of the world, they have a 2 weeks expiry date.
Within 2 weeks.
Yeah. Which other fish do you have 2 weeks? Have you seen your snapper, your thing giving us, okay, can you keep for 2 weeks? No. But salmon, you have that. So we maintain 0 to 4 degrees, that fish can be kept up to 2 weeks. So my advice to you is for raw consumption, if it's fresh, what happens is that the fish flies from Norway to Singapore, it takes 48 hours.
Okay.
Assuming, okay, just to give you a slightly insight, all salmon price are traded every Friday. Okay, every Friday in Singapore around 7 to 9 o'clock, all the people that's buying salmon from Norway, we have a phone call from Norway. Okay, every Friday. I have this much fish now.
Okay.
How much you want? Call, price agree, lock down, shipment goes into the plane on Saturday. Or harvest Saturday. Meaning if they harvest at 7 a.m. in Norway, your fish will be in the airplane by 6-7 hours. Around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you'll be in the plane already. Then plane takes off, you reach Singapore Sunday evening. Okay, Sunday evening. Then your local retailer will go and draw out the fish from the airport either on Sunday evening, which is very rare because nobody works on Sunday evening. They will clear the fish on Monday morning.
Ah.
Okay, for Singapore matter, it's safe because why? Singapore Changi Airport has the best storage system in the world that no one knows because we can't go in there. So the moment the fish lands in Singapore, it will be removed from the plane and they will straight go back into the cold chain system, which what Changi Airport has. It's a big, huge room that will have all cold. You just put the fish in there and keep it. And next morning, someone takes it. Okay, so when you have a 2 weeks grace expiry date, what happens is the first 2 days the fish is on the plane, right? The third day, the fourth day, the fifth and the sixth day, to me, is safe to eat raw. Okay, to me. So after the sixth day, you have to be very careful. Not because of the fish, because of the weather. Our weather is 34, 35 degrees, 30, 35 degrees. So cold chain for the fish is 0 to 4 degrees to keep
Yes.
fresh. So imagine it's 4 degrees. Singapore weather is 30 degrees.
That's
It's
a lot. Of
26 degrees different, okay? If you leave this fish out, like what I'm doing now, you can't see on the camera now, you start to sweat.
yeah,
See the oil coming out?
yeah.
This is what heat does to the fish. So heat is number one culprit that destroys the fish.
Oh,
Okay? So if you maintain it, it's no problem. So sashimi grade is all about freshness, how they handle the fish. Okay? So when I cut this, I will just put it around the plate. Okay, you can arrange it as nice as you want or whatever pattern you want. I leave it that to you.
yeah.
You know? So
This is similar to the lo yi shang that we do.
yes,
The Chinese
but this one I do it like how you eat your Chinese porridge. If you
Ah.
go to Chinatown, you know, in Singapore, you have this famous fish porridge.
Yes.
They will serve you raw fish like that with the hot porridge. So you dip your fresh fish into the porridge and you have it.
And the fish will be cooked in the hot porridge.
Well, that you want to cook it lah, but this one don't cook it lah. I will have it separately because it's so nice and oily and moist. Like, you know, it gives you that kind of flavor that you want.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, actually, really now we can see that the
Yes, I
the
will.
fish
Nah,
has
I
got
will now show you later on camera. When I cut it through, you can see the amount of
moisture.
moisture and see the white color stuff between
Oh,
here and here.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see better
very,
now, right?
Very, very obvious
Yeah,
now.
it's very obvious now. So that's why it's actually a bit more oily with trout. Okay, so the difference is very huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, I just need to add one more piece into this one to make it more balanced. So I'll just get another one.
To make it balanced.
Yes, sorry, yeah, it's a chef thing, you know. If it's not balanced, the chef won't serve it, you know.
Has got to look nice.
That's a job hazard, you know. It's all about presentation, all right? So, you know.
Yes. Yeah, now on the camera we can see quite
Okay, which camera we have now here? This one now. Okay, look at this now. Look at this now. Can you see is the white stuff is not that visible to you?
cannot really see the
Right?
white
There's
stuff.
no white stuff. That's
Yep.
the fat and all that running through the fish. Look at the trout now. Can you see that? I don't know whether you can see that. I can't see it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
See the difference?
And it's
Okay.
very dark orange. Huh?
Yeah. See again, see this? See this? See this? See this?
Yeah.
Enough? Got it? So that's what
Yeah.
that's the difference, okay? So it's not the same fish at all, right?
Yes.
So what you can do now is you can get some young ginger, finely julienne the ginger, soak it in water for a while, right? Or soak it in cold water about 20 minutes kind of thing, so that you remove a bit of the spiciness of the ginger. Then you just sprinkle all over the fish. Okay, ginger in Asia is like a must for fish. Okay, I'm going to just do something that I'm going to say something that may offend a lot of people, but I'll just say it. Okay. In Chinese culture, we always steam fish with ginger. So I asked the people that does that, my parents, why you put ginger onto the fish? So there's no fishy smell.
Yeah.
If that's the case, the fish is not fresh, right? Right? So why you put ginger? Because the fish is not fresh. If it's fresh, why put ginger? So then, second question. After you steam the fish with the ginger, does the ginger give any taste to the fish? Or you only smell the ginger?
Maybe smell it or accidentally eat it.
Okay, fine, we eat it, but when I take it out from the steamer, does it really do anything to the fish? It doesn't. It just makes the ginger smell stronger so you don't smell the fish.
Yeah.
But there's no taste. The ginger doesn't go into the fish taste. If you,
Yeah.
you may not recall now. Next time you eat a steamed fish, you let me know, okay?
Try to recall.
Try
yeah.
to recall, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then I have some chili. Okay,
Yes.
remove the seeds and then finally julienne the chili. And then just put it around, okay? You can actually do this ahead of time if you want to, okay? Do it ahead of time. Okay, I love this, I tell you, it's so nice. Something different than your normal soya sauce and wasabi kind of thing, a bit boring, right? Everything salmon, wasabi, salmon, soya sauce, wasabi. Is that boring? Try something new, can?
Yeah.
At least this, you have to run to the supermarket and buy your wasabi, your soya sauce. Here's
Yeah.
what you
can
have at
get
home.
We can get this at home.
Yeah, most of us are at home,
Yep.
right? The funny thing, every time I do salmon, wasabi. My dad, buy salmon home, where's the wasabi? Where's the soya sauce? Something new, can? Then light soya sauce, any kind of light soya sauce you want, just
Sprinkle.
drizzle all over the fish. Okay, make sure every piece have a bit of that soya sauce. Okay, this is your salty here. This is what you want to add a bit of salt. This is what balances the oiliness and then the flavor of the fish. Okay, and then the next one I use is sesame oil. Okay, this adds nuttiness to the fish, to the whole dish itself. And also the aroma. I tell you, this is going to be so good.
Sesame oil is also a very important condiment for Chinese dishes.
Yeah, it's any Chinese household must have sesame oil, soya sauce one. Don't have, you're not Chinese, you see. Okay, so a bit more of this. Okay. So once I've got that done,
Yes.
more or less now the soya sauce is starting to pickle the fish also a little bit, so you don't have to worry. So it's a bit. Then right before you serve, you squeeze some lime. Lime or calamansi. Don't use lemon. Okay, lemon is a bit too different than in an Asian dish. It doesn't give you that feeling, that kind of, the tangy is a bit different. So those of you who like a bit more spicy, you can always replace this chili with chili padi.
Oh,
Oh, then it'll give you that kick, Oh, I tell
the
you.
more spicy,
Yes,
taste of it.
The
yeah.
bird eye chili,
Yeah.
Or jalapeno if you want to. If you have jalapeno at home, go ahead. You want that spice to be there. So
So basically, we can replace the chili
yes.
to accommodate our own taste of
Yeah,
spiciness,
yeah,
our own
spiciness.
levels.
Then before I serve it, I will always give it a bit of color so that not color only, the coriander does work with the flavor. So it gives you the extra flavor into that dish.
If we don't like the taste of coriander, is there anything that we can replace it with?
To be very honest, this dish maybe not.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest with you. But then again, if you don't like it, just take it out. I mean, there's
Oh,
no
okay.
harm to it. But you can put a bit of spring onion if you want. But if you don't like all this green stuff, forget about it. Okay, so you don't have to use it. No, but I just like it because it works very well with soya sauce and sesame oil. See? It's one of those combinations in Chinese cooking that you never know why, but it just works very well.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I don't change. That's all from my heritage. Other than that, I change everything. So there you go. You got a simple, nice. Then I end up with a pepper. Okay, I always use white pepper for this, not a black pepper, because it just doesn't work very well with black pepper. But if you want black pepper with a bit of crunch on that, please go ahead. All right. So there you go. So you have a trout
Yes.
that is or a salmon, and
Yep.
this with a bit of porridge is just beautiful. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also-
Maybe we can show.
Okay, there's another angle of the camera to show you. Okay, so that one there.
Okay. Okay. Can we see? Can we recognize which one is which one now?
You can't recognize.
I cannot recognize now.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yes.
Right, look at that. Look at how nice the fish is. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that.
Now can
Right?
smell it.
Wow, see, you can't smell it, but she can, okay?
Yeah, I can smell the pepper. Yeah, this is great. Thank you, Chef. Okay, so now for all the participants, do you have any questions you want to ask the chef now? Like any kind of questions, you could just put up your hand or press the hands up button, or just unmute yourself and ask the chef. Any questions you want to ask about the seafood welfare, about the cooking, about fusion of Chinese cooking with Norwegian salmon? Anything that you would want to ask, you could ask now.
The most important thing when I deal with salmon and trout is I always have this motto is keep things simple. Right? Simplicity is the hardest thing to achieve. Right? You don't want to mask your salmon with things that you don't need on the fish. Right?
Yes.
Because you spend so much money. The fish is not cheap in Asia because of the whole farming process and all the flying part all the way from Norway. Because this is air-flown fish, not by boat. Okay, it's all air-flown fish. This reaches to you 48 hours from live fish live swimming into the box to your supermarket in 48 hours. Okay, just share with you one thing. Your local fish, which is the deep sea local fish that they harvest. Your fishermen, not in Singapore. Singapore is no fishermen. From Malaysia, from Thailand, from Indonesia, when they go out to sea, deep sea to fish, it normally goes out about 7 to 8 days or 10 days. So imagine on the first day they go out, they catch the fish. Where they put the fish? Under the boat. Right? They come back 7 days later, they send to you, they call it fresh fish. It's not fresh fish. It's been dead for 7 days. Right?
Oh.
Okay? You understand?
Okay.
This is still alive 48 hours before you get it. Because in Norway, the fish is not harvested and kept. Every Friday, remember the Friday calling part is where they know now at the processing plant, they have how many tons of fish there. They call you how much you want. To this week price is so much. So how many tons you want? So it's a weekly trade. So that's one thing good about farm fish. You know there's continuity of the fish. Right? You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get weekly, in, out. You know what you're getting. And it's 48 hours only before you get the fish. Compared to your 7-10 days fish out in the open sea. Big difference, yeah?
Yes, definitely. Oh, yeah, thank you, Chef. But anyone else, any one of you have any questions, do not miss this chance to ask the chef.
Maybe I should ask my
More
friend
questions.
in Norway.
Yeah.
Did I hear everything right? Did I miss out anything?
Yeah.
He's spying on my work today, so...
Yeah.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Very good job.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, the only thing I'm missing, you made a very good dish, but the very best dish, you know which one it is, Jimmy.
Don't mention to them because they wanted me to do it today, but I didn't do it. I'll make maybe the next one. Tell them.
Do it next one then.
Tell them.
Okay, that will be the highlight for the asam pedas salmon.
There you go.
In the world, I tell you.
I've converted him to asam pedas eater. Okay?
Yeah.
It wasn't very hard.
Yeah, he has been talking about it, and I keep asking him like, "Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? I want to try it." Yeah, that's really sounds very interesting.
I've had a lot of salmon dishes in different variations and in cooking competitions and everything.
Yes.
But to this very day, Chef Jimmy's asam pedas salmon is the best.
Wow!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming all the way from Norway. Thank you very much.
You're
Wow.
welcome. I'm just waiting for the COVID to be over so I can come see you and have some good food.
Please, we're waiting for you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, John. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. I mean, we have someone from Norway who has been eating so many different kinds of salmon and actually vouching for your asam
You
pedas.
see, Asian flavors is still the best. You see, it is. Unfortunately, I'm being biased here, maybe, but it is still. I don't know. It's just after booking for so long with the fish, it just works very well. It works very well. If you don't try, you won't know.
Yeah.
So give it a try. Give it a try because it's such a versatile fish. You steam, you fry, you bake, you grill it. It's still, it keeps its moisture if you don't overcook it. It's versatile. You're eating a good fish. The best thing is the thing that you're eating the fish that's been treated humanely. One thing.
Yes.
Is well traceable. It's well looked after. It's not genetic modified. There's nothing that in the fish. What else do you want?
Yeah.
When people say farm fish is not good for you, yeah, it's always, kind of thing that you. But once you see it yourself, I mean, it's the best. I mean, they've been there for 60 years now.
Yep.
Right? How bad can it be if it's bad, right? So it's some of those things that you have to understand the process first. Give a hint, understand the process, look at the process, then you know why is it like that instead of just pushing it off straight away.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Salmon is one of the fishes that really has got so much potential.
Of
From
course.
eating it raw, not cooking it, all the way to asam pedas kind of salmon.
But
yeah.
just to share with you also, if you go to Japan now and eat sashimi and sushi, just let me remind you, your salmon in Japan, restaurants in Japan is not from Japan. It comes from Norway too, just to let you know, it doesn't come from Japan. Yes, Japan has salmon, but it's wild salmon is different than what you eat in Japanese restaurant.
Yes.
So, you go to Japan, oishi, Japanese salmon is good. It's come from Norway too. Right? It's the same fish that comes in Norway into Singapore and to Japan. Right?
Yeah.
So,
All right, thank you, Chef. And I mean, I've learned a lot today. Although it's like every week we have a session, but I still learn a lot every week. Chef has got so much to share with us. I mean, one last call for questions. Any more questions from anyone? Okay, if there's no more questions, I would really like to thank everyone for your presence here today. And I mean, the NCC team, and thank everyone for being here. And I hope to see you for our next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.